Hello, I'm John Eldridge, and welcome to the Ransomed Heart audio podcast. For more information on Ransomed Heart Ministries, our resources and events, please visit us online at www.ransomedheart.com. We join this radio show
live from London,
Paris, Tokyo, Bangkok, and Enid, Oklahoma.
Where Bessie Smith writes. Are we ready? Well. John apparently had some fiber this morning. He's doing good.
Some fiber.
Welcome to the Ransomed Heart podcast. This is Craig McConnell, and I'm with John Eldridge. And we're interrupting the series. John reading his new book, Beautiful Outlaw. And we just wanted to jump in here and share some of the excitement we're feeling and sensing and aware of and observing. And we just had to say something. So that's what today is John and myself just observing what's happening out there and with us and in this, John. I mean, the reading of Beautiful Outlaw, the book, the feedback, what people are talking about, it's really unique. I personally... I was thinking just yesterday, actually, that the last time I recall people just talking so freely and kind of openly about Jesus in such a personal, fond, and longing way was, gosh, back when I became a Christian in Southern California in the old Calvary Chapel days. And I found myself just kind of tapping into that and kind of measuring my walk, my passion, the joy of, my salvation, the joy of my first love. And it's pretty remarkable just hearing people talk about Jesus in a way that you haven't heard for a while.
I know. It's awesome. Something pretty special, I think, is going on. I think God's excited. I do, and I think that excitement is spilling over to us, to his people, and yes, because, come on, I mean, Jesus is the center, and to fall in love with him, to know him as he is just, it's incomparable. I mean, there's just nothing else that you can compare to it, and so that's just the beauty of that. I love hearing from friends, hearing from our listeners what it's doing in their life. And over again, whatever else they're saying, I love this, I love his playfulness. Or,
yes.
Oh my goodness, the part on his humanity. I never saw that. How did I miss that? And, it's Jesus is getting broken out of this religious figure, and that we've kind of pushed off into history and into the heavens, and it's becoming real for people. And one of the universal lines that we're hearing back is, I'm falling in love with him. And that alone is worth a king's ransom. I mean, that's incredible. Right, because as I was saying last week, Jesus is the treasure that opens up all the other treasures in life. I mean, if you get Jesus as he is, if you get his love, his friendship, his intimacy, his trueness, all of it, if you get Jesus really, then that one treasure opens up all the other things, whether it's relationships or the beauty of the world, your place in God's kingdom, healing and transformation and breakthrough and, the various things that we all long for.
Yes.
They almost wait on getting this Jesus back. And so, I think something pretty special is going on. And the other thing that I want to start with a confession here. I'm not a really good evangelist. I'm just not. I love talking about God, but it is much easier to get up in front of an audience of 300, 500, 1,000 people and talk than it is, to talk to the mailman, the neighbor down the street, the gal across the counter at the deli. I just am embarrassed to admit what a reluctant evangelist I am. However, in the last couple weeks, Stacy and I, just in our own personal experience, it's been so cool. Stacy with the gal cutting her hair, the gal who was her dental hygienist, in the same day, me with two different people on airplanes, and then literally the gal across the counter at the restaurant that I was getting to-go food at. Somehow this Jesus, beautiful outlaw, this message, it's just opening doors to share Jesus with people it's awesome.
You mentioned a plane flight that you had quite a conversation. I mean, that's not typical.
Oh, plane flights, that's my private time. I mean, I just love it. There's no phone service. People can't get to me. And so I usually just, put on my headphones and either, I listen to worship music, or I'm journaling, or I'm reading something. It is, I go into like a cocoon. Yeah. I don't like people talking to me on plane flights. But it was so good. It was so good. It was flying from Atlanta to L.A. last week and got in a conversation with a guy. And it just felt like God was just teeing this up. What do you do? What do you do? That kind of thing. I'm an author. Oh, really? Are you working on anything? And, well, as a matter of fact, a book on the personality of God. Yeah. And just a look in his eyes. The what? The personality of God? Yes. And immediately you have to rush in and rescue because they start thinking you're a freak and go, yeah, people just have such religious, kind of creepy images of Jesus and of God and, the whole white robe and sandals thing and all that. And I said, just to discover, this is the personality of the God who made the ocean, the God who made music, and it captured this guy. And we get into this long conversation at the end of which I was able to just hand him my copy of Beautiful Outlaw that actually I was taking notes in. I needed it for a talk that I was giving, but I just handed it to him and I said, look, just read a chapter. Just read a chapter. And if it captures you, great. And if not, leave it in the hotel, That's what I mean by something special's going on. Yeah. There's some buzz there. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's almost hard to describe for our listeners, but they know it because they've been experiencing it.
Yeah. Yeah. And John, I mean, all of your books are just off the charts in terms of the impact and effect, but what feels different about this for me is now the conversation and the focus and the discussions are all about Christ versus, in some way, it feels like a relief. It's not my walk with God, my holiness, which is all important. I don't know if I'm saying this well, but it's like we're talking about the most important thing in the world.
Exactly. And the more that we do, Craig, the more that I see the poverty of the world. Like, how do people not know this? Mm-hmm. How did this happen? A couple of weeks ago, we were out, on the Beautiful Outlaw tour, speaking, live, and we were just having a couple of fish tacos with Bart in Southern California, and we were just reflecting on this is the most beautiful, this is the most valuable thing in the world, to know Jesus as he really is. And I was just looking out on the street as people were going by and just thought, we had a wonderful attendance, but why doesn't the world know this? Why isn't this breaking out? You just see the poverty of the world when it comes to knowing God and to knowing Jesus as he is. And then I'm in the airport and grabbing a couple magazines for the flight and U.S. News, I think it was. It's one of the big, magazines, news magazines, The Real Jesus. And they had a special edition out on new facts about who Jesus really was. And the picture on the cover is just another one of those creepy, weird Jesus pictures that in this one he looks scared. He really does. He looks, and it's like, really? The world desperately needs to know this. So I think we're feeling both the passion and the excitement, and people are loving this message. And then there's also this, I don't know, the passion of God, that this be more widely known.
And you just so naturally want it to be widely known. It's like, when have we talked and enjoyed and pursued and laughed and anticipated Jesus working and moving in our lives? These moments, they're only occasional in life or in the history of nations or countries or peoples or lands. It's like there's something fresh and wonderful, something that's there's probably a lot of words I could use. I'm thinking of revival, and I hate that word, and I don't want to use it. But there's something something beautiful in this.
Yes.
Don't miss this.
Yes, exactly.
I want all of this.
Exactly. Yeah. Craig, when I was writing Outlaw, I was praying a lot about it and asking Jesus, among other things, what he was saying about this. And he took me to Isaiah 63, verse 4. For the day of vengeance was in my heart, and the year of my redemption has come. And I know that in the past that's kind of, typically, and I think appropriately, in right biblical interpretation, we understand that as, oh, yes, that's God bringing his salvation to the world. But I sensed very powerfully that in this case, Jesus was saying, oh, no, the year of my redemption, the redemption of how people see and know and experience Jesus. It's his redemption in the sense of, from all of the creepy, weird, wacko, bizarro, hyper-religious, stained glass, stuff. Jesus was saying over this, gang, that the day of vengeance is in his heart, and the year of his redemption has come. I think that's happening. I know it's happening. I mean, we're hearing from our friends, we're hearing from our allies that, not only is it taking place in their life, but they're sharing it.
Yes.
They're saying, oh my goodness, my mom came with me to hear you on this, or, I'm giving this to the guy who does banking for me, and I've never talked to him about Jesus before, but this is the message I can share. I feel excited about this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was cruising through Amazon, and I was just looking at the reviews, and number one, that people would write a review, and then two, that it's a review on a book on Jesus, and that it was so personal and passionate.
Yes.
It's like, way to go, God.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, Jesus. Let's do this thing.
Yes.
Exactly. Yes. So, friends, part of what we want to do today was just pause, interrupt the series. We'll get back to that next week. And hope you're loving it. Hope you're enjoying it. Hope you get the book. Are you kidding me? And just to drink in this more deeply, and but also wanting to invite you into a revolution. We want a revolution for Jesus. The day of vengeance is in our hearts, and the year of his redemption to help us break this out. And so let me tell you about a couple things. One, just to be praying as you're enjoying listening to these podcasts, you just, oh yes, Jesus, bless this message. Just bless it. Send it forth. Break it out, just an outbreak of this. And then to come to the website at beautifuloutlaw.net, because on November 14th, here's what's going on. In 2 weeks, on Monday night, we are offering a free online event that's live to the world. That's me before a live audience here in Colorado Springs talking about this Jesus. And it is fun. It is rich. It's so alive to hear it live, to talk about Jesus, to open some of these stories up in the Gospels. So we're going to make that available online, free, to churches that want to, host it and invite 1,000 people to come, or to home groups that want to host it and invite 4 people over, or to our friends overseas who listen to our stuff but can't get to anything live that we do here in the United States. Just for an individual, you can just sit at your computer and watch this. So it's called the Outlaw Cast. The Outlaw Cast is November 14th, Monday evening, and we're staging it in ways that, people on the East Coast and Central and West Coast can pick it up at appropriate times to get home from work and really enjoy it. So for more information about the Outlaw Cast, come to beautifuloutlaw.net and come and be a part of this. Come and be a part of this revolution. You can either find out, where it's being held near you so you can go attend a church and watch this, or you can figure out how to host it yourself. Right. And sign up for that. It's very simple to get this online webcast and to be part of. This is kind of the next step in let's bust this thing out.
Jesus, come.
Let's bring Jesus to the people that we love, the people that we know. Let's bring him to the world.
Yes. Listen, if you haven't gotten the book, get it, read it. It'll change your life. You'll change your view of Jesus. And do come back, continue with us as John takes us through Beautiful Outlaw in the weeks ahead. It's just a rich time. It's just a rich time. Setting aside the time to think about and to listen and to meet Christ as he is. Thank you for joining us, Ransom Heart Podcast. For more information about anything we're doing, go to ransomheart.com.
Yes, come and experience Jesus for yourself, and come be a part of a revolution with him and for him.